Hello world, this is your host Gulmakai Saleh, the author of Princess Diversity and the Golden Rule. Speak Up with Gulmakai is a talk show that focuses on a holistic approach to tackle hate by promoting understanding, goodness, and empathy. Hello Ahmed.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. So those who are tuning in, hello. This is a talk show that is based on promoting goodness and understanding. Today we have a very special guest. He's the youngest guest on my talk show so far. His name is Ahmed Chaudhry. So like I was saying, Speak Up with Gulmakai is a talk show that focuses on a holistic approach to tackle hate by promoting understanding, goodness, and empathy. We want to empower our audience to break the cycle of hate by creating an environment where there is understanding amongst all people through the universal message of the Golden Rule, which is to treat others as one would treat oneself. Every week we have a special guest speaker who speaks on promoting goodness in individuals and society. So today our guest speaker is Ahmed Chaudhry, who is the founder of Muslim City Fest. And he's a medical student. He's a very young man who is making waves of difference in his community. Today's topic is Unveil the Arts, Revive the Soul. Muslim City Fest is happening on Saturday, June 23rd, right here in Philadelphia, in the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. Muslim City Fest is a series of festivals in many of the major cities in Atlanta, Chicago, Philadelphia, San Francisco, New Jersey, New York, and New York, and of course other cities. The festivals are created to highlight the artistic talents of Muslim youth in a fun-filled, family-friendly environment. It has been designed as a platform for the youth to express themselves and to celebrate the role of art in their cultures and traditions. In the hopes of taking major steps towards helping portray Islam in a positive light and demonstrating the community that the Muslim youth are talented and are ready to contribute to the society using their skills. Muslim City Fest is for families, friends, and most importantly, the American community as a whole to come and enjoy the fun and excitement. Now about my speaker, Ahmed Chaudhry. Like I said before, he is the founder of Muslim City Fest, and he is a medical student. He's a native of Philadelphia, and he has roots in Pakistan. He is a Hafiz or memorizer of the Quran, in which he tries to use his knowledge and understanding to relate to and encourage Muslim youth to feel confident in their identity in today's turbulent time. He has been working on several projects such as the Muslim City Fest, and he runs In Style modest page on Instagram called Trading Now Fashion Tour. So Ahmed, thank you for joining us today on Speak Up with Gulmakai.
No, thank you so much for having me. It was really an honor when you asked me to join, I was actually pretty shocked that you had, given me this opportunity. So thank you for inviting me onto the show.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to have you.
No, the pleasure's mine.
Yeah. So you're a young individual who's doing amazing work, and that's why I wanted you here today, because I've seen your work. I've been observing you, and mashallah, I have to say, I'm very proud of you being a young individual trying to make a difference, trying to build understanding among the Muslims and non-Muslims, and trying to create an environment where there's a mutual understanding and we could relate to each other on a different page, which is art, right? Something you've been doing, bringing the art, unveiling the art and reviving the soul. So now tell us more about the Muslim City Fest.
Yeah, so Muslim City Fest is a series of festivals that we're starting in America. So just to give you a little background about it, I'm sure you're familiar with there's a huge event, actually the biggest Muslim event in North America is called Muslim Fest, and that happens in Mississauga, Canada, every year, once a year. So in 2016, I had the opportunity to go there and to see it for the first time, and it was amazing. I mean, there's over 50,000 people that attend it all the time. They have like a huge bazaar with a lot of food, a lot of different like vendor tables and all of that. And then they have a huge stage where they have Muslim artists and performers from all over the world that are coming and performing in the middle. Like it's literally in the heart of a major city. Like there's skyscrapers all around you, and this is all happening right in the center. And when I went, I realized that, you know, this is something that we don't have at all in America. Like I am not familiar with something to that level or to that scale that had ever been introduced into America at that time. And I realized that, you know, this is something that we're lacking, because, you know, we have in America, we do have like certain, you know, we have like big conferences and big seminars, but they're mainly all just on the, you know, like public speaking side, where someone's just talking and listening. It's like a lecture style format usually, these conferences. Mm-hmm. I never saw anything that was so exciting and so family oriented and so entertaining for the kids in America. And so I decided that this was something that we needed to have back in America. And so we started it last year. And we brought it back to Philadelphia under the name Muslim Philly Fest because our goal was to try to get this event to be in Philadelphia. And we invited a few performers last year. We had a pretty good turnout, and we decided that, you know, the impact that we had that first year was pretty phenomenal. And we decided that, you know, instead of just limiting ourselves by making it just Muslim Philly Fest, we should change the name to Muslim City Fest and make it something that could go to major cities, not just all over the country, but all around the world. And that's our mission, is to get this series of festivals to showcase the artwork of Muslim youth in America and all over the world, and to make them, you know, feel like they belong in the society and that they are able to express their artistic talents and everything, that all their creativity on a platform like that. And so that was why we started it in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Wow, amazing. It's very exciting. You know, I know a lot of people are anticipating for this day to happen, and you're doing a great service for the youth. It's amazing what you're doing, and I hope you continue doing it, and others can learn from you and also help you out and try to make it possible. So how long have you been working? You mentioned I was there last year, so that was your first time you doing it, right? But you've been working nonstop since then, right? Can you share more of how the plan is going about?
Yeah, so for Muslim City Fest specifically, so Muslim Philly Fest was kind of a last minute put together project, just as like a pilot project, just to get a run through of it to see how it out. And after that happened, it was basically me and one other person that had started this, the Muslim Philly Fest. And we decided that, you know, to get this to the level that we want to get it at, we need to establish a legitimate team. We need to have a, you know, very well qualified team to actually put in the manpower and to actually organize something that's this grand scale. So right after, I want to say right after Ramadan last year, so around June. In June, we decided that, you know, we want to start to plan this. We want to start at least, you know, seeing who add on to the team and seeing different people and trying to see who is willing to join or at least, you know, support the idea at that point. And so I would say that took us a few months, and by around like August of 2017, we had put together a team and we had started to actually organize it. And all the work that's been going into it has been since August now. For this specific event in June in Philadelphia. And among that, we've also talked about, you know, having other projects and going to other cities as well. So yeah. It's been a while.
Wow. I mean, you're doing a lot of work in a short amount of time. Is phenomenal. And, you know, you've put so much together. Is what I saw last year and what you're doing now, I see is so organized and so structured. The foundation, you're setting the foundation really solid, and that's amazing. So there's a lot of artists coming, nasheed artists and other artistic people who want to come and share their skills. Can you share more about who are they and what they can offer?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a background story on this whole situation. So initially, we were looking at a few different artists, mainly from not in America. They're from overseas. Like we were looking at Harris J, who's from the UK. Mm-hmm. We were looking at D Squad, who's from Canada. And we had been working on getting those guys to America. But unfortunately, their visas, the visa process was pretty long. We went through the visa process, but some of the stuff with those performers didn't end up working out, and they needed a lot more like legal work to try to get them overseas. And so we decided, instead of delaying because everyone was waiting for the main performer lineup at this point, and they were wondering like who's going to be performing, who's going to be the main performers, and all that. So instead of delaying and trying to see if we could get someone else's visa, we decided to look for other talent. And our biggest performer that we're bringing now is Raif. Raif is a Middle Eastern singer from the DC area, and he's pretty big. He's worked with like Maher Zain. He's worked with like some of these bigger artists that are out there right now, and he has millions of views on all of his videos and all of his music. And he's a really talented guy. So he's our main performer that we're having on June 23rd. Then we decided that we're gonna get a bigger lineup, a longer lineup of people to get more artistic talent and more acts showcased to everyone. So we have Raif as our main act, and then we have Irfan Makki, who is also a pretty big artist who used to also work with Maher Zain and some of these other bigger performers from all over the world. So he'll be joining us from Canada. And then we have Saeed. Saeed is also from Canada. He's of Pakistani origin, and he's a newer and more upcoming artist, but he's had many videos now that have reached over 1 million views, and his music is really, really nice, and most of it is all just used, all the music that he has is all by his voice and hands and just sounds that he's making, not with any instruments or anything in the back. And he's a very talented guy. Then we have two Palestinian guys from Chicago, Wahib Nassan and Kareem Ibrahim. And a lot of the work that they do is they try to make music into something that is a little bit more effective than just to give people enjoyment with music. So what they try to do is, they, being Palestinian themselves, they're very big supporters of the whole issue that's going on in Israel and Palestine, and also in the war in Syria. And so they try to gear the message of the songs that they use and the lyrics that they make towards that. And they're very talented guys as well, and we just can't wait to see these guys all come. So they'll be coming from Chicago. Now those are the main, those are the nasheed artists or the singers that we have that are coming. We have many different acts though, like I said. We will have Nadra Pierre. She is from New Jersey. She's an African-American comedian. And she is pretty big on Instagram. That's like her main social media platform that she has. And she does like little Instagram comedy skits where she gets a lot of her views from. And so we're excited to have her. She's in New Jersey, so she's right next door. And then we have a few different like Instagram social influencers and bloggers that are using their creativity to gain popularity or to gain to give Muslim girls in particular more confidence, and to give them someone to look up to online and in the media today. And so those two of those girls, Sally Ashur, she's from Tampa, Florida, and the other person who's actually not on our flyer yet, she actually just confirmed with us today. She's also from Tampa, Florida. Her name is Noha Hamid. She is from Tampa, Florida, and both of them are very big influencers on social media, and they use their creativity as bloggers and social media influencers to really reach like over hundreds of thousands of people online. And so those are some of the acts that we'll be having. And of course, we'll also be joined by the Philadelphia Mayor, Jim Kenney, who will be speaking at 12 o'clock at noon at the event. So that's definitely something that no one wants to miss.
Yeah, definitely. You can't miss it. So those who are tuning in, we have Ahmed Chaudhry, who is the founder of Muslim City Fest. This is an event that's going to happen on June 23rd, right here in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. So if you're really enjoying this show, please share it with your friends and family on different pages. They can also benefit from it. If you have any questions, we're going to hold it till the end. We're going to go over the interview part, then we will have those questions answered. So, it's very exciting. I'm so excited, about this because I see you have more performers this year than last year, and
Yeah.
a wide variety. And you're bringing in women, you're bringing in sisters to perform, and that's so amazing. Of course, there's a lot of fun for young kids too, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course. So that's just one part of it, is just the singers, performers. There's also going to be a talent show throughout the day where actually our local youth, our Muslim youth in this area, in the Philadelphia area, are going to be, they have the chance, they actually already submitted their auditions, and we've actually picked our lineup for the talent show now. But they'll get to also perform and share the stage with these professional performers, and you'll be listening to that. That'll be the first portion through the daytime. You'll be listening to our local youth performing, whether it's nasheeds or singing, whether it's poetry, spoken word, um, you know, even like playing like the instruments and stuff like that. These are all things that will be happening throughout the day, and that'll be our local youth. Mm-hmm. That's generally, that age group is from anywhere in the teens and onward. Mm-hmm. So that will be something more for the actual Muslim youth that are in the area. Mm-hmm. And aside from that, in order, for the whole family, there's a whole carnival and bazaar and rides and vendors and food trucks and all sorts of different things that will be there throughout the entire day. So it's definitely, we're trying to make it as inclusive of an environment as possible for everyone.
Wow. So why do you think it's very important for the Muslim, especially the Muslim community, to bring their children? What lasting effects will it have on them?
Well, first, as I mentioned, when I went to Muslim Fest in Canada, and I realized that I personally believe that there is not anything that is as big as this or on this, grand of a scale in America. Like, we are lacking these types of events. We're lacking these events that are bringing the community together in a very fun and inclusive environment, a very encouraging environment, a very non-judgmental zone. And a lot of times younger people in particular, especially with the way that social media is today and the way, some of the perceptions about Islam and Muslims in the media is, it's obviously not the best in today's time. And as a young person myself, I saw that, growing up in America as a young Muslim is very difficult. Mm-hmm. And it can be, and the older generations, they had their own struggles, but their struggles were quite different from the struggles that mm-hmm. today's youth are going through. And I use this example all the time. My grandpa used to always tell me that, he used to hike some number of miles to go to school every day to get an education. And that is a struggle. And that's definitely, us kids can't really even fathom that. But like today's Muslim youth, their struggle is, I just don't want to be picked on in class today. Or I just want to, get through the day without somebody saying some racist comment to me, or someone making fun of me because I'm not drinking with them. And all these things, it makes it very difficult for young people to keep their identity and mm-hmm. to keep themselves openly expressed as Muslims. And so I think that it's very important for us to try to create more positive environments and to try to foster that loving environment that is kind of lacking in today's society, to try to help the youth feel more comfortable with their Muslim identity, understand what it is to be Muslim. It's not something that necessarily what the media might portray. There's beauty behind all of it, and mm-hmm. the understand that, and that understanding that and being able to express that, on such a platform or in such an environment is the only way to really feel comfortable with your identity. And so therefore, I think it's almost mandatory for the parents in the area to definitely bring their kids to. Yeah,
amazing. Me, myself, I was in school during the first bombing happened in the World Trade Center in 1993. So we had our issues then, and we didn't have these platforms. I always wanted to be understood, but the only thing on the media, we will have this TV in the corner of our classroom where Desert Storm, the war that was happening in Iraq, the first war, the first bombing of the World Trade Center was happening, and it was always there, and everyone would always look at me like, you're the one who's doing this to us.
Yeah.
Once the Iraq war was over, this Desert Storm, one of the kids turned to me and said, "You lost, we won." and it's in my memory till this day. So, I wish we had these kind of events during my time that, we could have shared like the different aspects of Islam, the beauty of Islam, the artistic side of us. And for those who are watching, I think a lot of the youth and the Muslim families should take the initiative and invite their non-Muslim friends, invite their classmates to bring them to this event, so where they could see Islam, its beauty, its, what we have to offer, what our what our world had offered over thousands of years. And there's a lot of history in Islamic art too. Do you mind sharing that part?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, that it's important for Muslim youth in today's times to understand what it is to be Muslim and to understand who they really are. So a lot of times when you want to ridicule a religion or a faith or type of people, what you do is you try to make them, lose their ties and try to make them forget about who they are and where they came from. And, like, for example, overseas, like in these wars, everyone says that, the real way to completely destroy a country is to destroy all their schools, destroy their education system, so that they have no way of learning anything and knowing, who they truly are, learning the history about who they are as a person. And obviously your history is what makes you into who you are, and you need to know where you came.
I agree.
For, as society tries to do that and it pushes people away from Islam or from their Muslim identity, it can be tough to remember who you are. A lot of us, especially younger people, have not even really been told who we are. Kind of don't actually know where Muslims come from. So, like, for example, I was talking about this a while ago, where, Muslims actually we're made to seem as if we're these people who don't really have any place in this country, and that we should all just go back home overseas and, what, contributed to society today, or what is our point in being here? And that's one of the arguments that's used against us usually. But what we need to understand is, if you look back throughout history, I mean, there's so many different civilizations and so many different technologies and discoveries that were made in today's times, where I would say more than half would not have been made if it wasn't for certain Muslim scholars and Muslim architects and Muslim mathematicians and Muslim scientists all over the world that, were able to discover those things in, so many years ago. So centuries ago, I mean, like, if you look at the Ottoman Empire in Turkey, which is arguably one of the greatest empires to ever, walk this earth, everything was flourishing at that time. I mean, the Muslim artwork, Muslim, science, all of the literature, everything. And if you look behind me, actually, this is a painting from there, which is from Ottoman Empire at that time. That is one of the greatest architectural works at that time. And you have this, if you look at the Muslims in Spain, where arts were really the center of everything, not just in Turkey, but in Spain, as I mentioned. And Spain at that time, actually, which I don't know if a lot of people really know, is that a lot of us know that Muslims did rule Spain at some point, which was the Moorish Empire. But a lot of people don't realize that that time period when the Muslims were ruling Spain was actually the epitome, or like the perfect time for coexisting. And there were a lot of Christians and Jews and many different religions all living in that society together in harmony. And the term that they used was convivencia, which literally means coexistence. And it was a time when arts and science and math and technology, everything was flourishing. And at that time, they used to have a library in Spain, in Toledo, where actually everything that we know about history, about the Greeks, about the Romans, about, the Mesopotamians, all of that, all the stuff from those books, like from thousands and thousands of years ago, at that library in Spain, the Muslim scholars were actually all translating it into one common, so that we were actually able to really understand that. And without that translation happening, we never would have actually known what had happened throughout history. And so Spain, for example, was the center of the world at that time. And people from all over the world, not just Muslims, like almost the Harvard or the Oxford or the Yale or the Brown or the Princeton, it was the center of the world, and that was the hub where people really wanted to come and be educated and to learn. And so that's, these are just a few examples of the great things and the the epitome and the highest point of architecture and the arts and literature and everything in Islam, where it really flourished throughout history.
That's, it's so much knowledge out there, but the thing is, we don't know about it, and so much history, rich history, that it's not shared. So what you're doing is you're bringing it out to the platform and making people see it in a different perspective. What other information you want to share with the audience before we leave? Where can we reach you? What website you have? Or
yeah, so we have everything is all on our website at www.muslimcityfest.com. And if you want to look us up on any of our social media, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, it's just at Muslim City Fest. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us. If you want to email us, our email is muslimcityfest@gmail.com. But yeah, so right now all we're doing is trying to get as many people as we can to really help out if they're interested. Just to at least, if you're not interested in volunteering or in sponsoring or in contributing your artwork or your talent in some way, you can at least just to come attend the event, because we think it's going to be one of the greatest events coming to Philadelphia this 2018 year. So definitely reach out to us. Definitely try to contact us in any way, and we can respond on all of those things.
so if you don't mind typing that into the comment bar of the website, your Facebook page, that would be great. So you can reach him. This is an amazing event happening on June 23rd. Mark your calendar. It's the Muslim City Fest right here in Philadelphia. You could reach him, contact him for more information. There's flyers, videos on his Facebook page. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Ahmed. Our next and last talk show before this pilot program that I have created will end next week. Next week we have Iman Zia, who will be here on Wednesday, May 9th at 7 p.m. right here on Facebook. He's the founder of Make Space, and he'll be speaking about the golden rule in Islam. So please join us there. And Ahmed, do you have anything else you want to share before?
Thank you for having me on the show, and I really wish you all the success with everything with this show.
Thank you. May you be also blessed, and thank you everyone for tuning in. And we'll get back to, if you have any questions, do put in the comment bar, and me and Ahmed will answer after.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.